Hi, I'm Sally and this is a tutorial for my Mr. Bump design. You will need a blue, white and 2 black bands for his eyes. So let's make a start. I'm going to start by making his hands. So taking a single band, stretching it out, doubling it over onto itself and then wrapping it around your hook 3 times like this. You're then going to take another band, stretch it out, cross it over, double it back on itself. Sorry, that noise is my guinea pig drinking. He features in quite a lot of my tutorials, drinking. And it does sound a bit like a train in the background, but it's his drinking. So please try and ignore him if you can. He's a noisy little so-and-so. So like that. And then we're going to do this again 3 more times. So he has 4 fingers on each hand. So I'll show you how to make one, and then you'll need to pause the video and make another one. I can't get hold of those bands. They are quite tight around the hook because they're doubled. Push it down to the centre and loop it back on itself. Same again, double it. Wrap it around your hook. I'm sure he'll stop in a minute. And we'll get some peace and quiet and you'll be able to concentrate a little bit better. Right. Like that. And then one more. So stretching it out. If your hook isn't big enough to hold all of these, then just place them on a holding hook. I find, as I've previously said in other tutorials, these hooks, they're like little cheap plastic ones that you get in with the band sometimes, they're quite good to use as holding hooks. So if, like me, you have a lot of them and you don't know what to do with them, you can use them for those. Otherwise you can use anything. You may be able to get them on the end of your loom. I would have thought that they would stretch enough, but you will need to then put them back on your hook to be able to thread them through and make his hand. So there are his fingers. So I'm going to take double of your blue, stretch it out, hold it on your finger, and you're going to slide each one of these little fingers onto these 2 bands. And he stopped drinking, so we get some peace and quiet now. So it looks like this. Then we're going to place this to one side, take our loom, which is in a staggered configuration with the arrows pointing towards you, and you're going to take double bands again. I'm going to go towards the end of my loom because you'll need to attach his hand, and we're going to go down 2 times. So down twice, and attach his hand, so just stretch it over this very end pin here. And again it's sort of like a cat band, like this, and then we're just going to loop up, so just pushing his hand back, get those bottom 2 bands and loop up like so, and this can just be left at the end of your loom. It shouldn't be in the way down there. So if you make another one, pause it, make another one, come back when you're ready and we will make his foot. So to make his foot, this is all double bands, so you're going straight from the first to the second centre pin, going diagonally from the side second to the centre second, same the other side. So you should have something at the moment that looks a bit like a sort of sideways Y, and then we're going to place double bands from here to here and here to here to make a diamond shape. Like this, placing a cat band on this pin here in the middle. So a single band wrap around the pin 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. and then going in through the cap band, pushing it back, taking the top 2 bands and looping back to the band loop back on itself. Same the other side, and then in through the sides to the centre, side to the centre. You may need to push that pin there down because there's a lot of bands on it, so it should like this. And going in through this pin and looping it back on itself like that. And then remove this from your loom, and again you can place this at the bottom of your loom, down here like this. But he will be out of the way, it will be out of the way. Right, so yeah, if you make another one of these and then come back when you've done that, and we'll make the side extension piece. So to make the side extension piece, I am so sorry, I really am. He is so noisy, he's been quiet all day. Double bands, going down twice with your blue and then twice with your white, so double white bands, going down, down again, so you have this, and then taking a single band, stretching it out, doubling it over, so it's doubled round, same as we did with the fingers, and you're placing that over the very end pin down here. So we're going to take another single white band and do exactly the same, place it on the pin above, another white pin for the next one, another white band for the next one, not a white pin, and then a blue one. And then the very top pin won't need a band on it. So once you have this, and as you can see, the bands are on, I'm going to loop this up. So going inside this bottom doubled over band, you probably need to hold it on. Just loop the bottom 2 bands forward, like so, and ease off again. So when it's all looped up, it should look like this. So again, you can remove this and place it at the bottom of your loom. Make another one. Enjoy the piece while you do. And when you come back, we'll make his body. So, Mr. Misty's body. Taking 2 white bands, just place them so they're loosely over this top centre pin. He's a pain, isn't he? Double white bands are going to go from the side second to the centre second, and exactly the same the other side. And then taking double bands, we're going down across this row and pushing them down as you go. Like that. And then we're going to go down another white in the middle, like that. So you should have this, and this will be the bandage on top of his head. And now we're going to switch and do blue, and we're going to go down twice across each row. So on all 3 rows we want to go down 2 times. Oops. So it should look like this now. And now we're going to switch and use white again, and we're going down twice on each row using double white bands. this, like this, and then we're going to do one row of blue across the bottom of this. So like that. And then we're going to place diagonal bands from here to here, so 2 bands diagonally from this pin to this pin, and the same from this pin to this pin. I'm placing a cap band on this centre pin here. So, single band wrapped 3 times. And now for his legs. So we're going down with double blue bands twice on each side, and they're going from this pin here. So the pin at the diagonal, excuse me, that the diagonal band comes off of at the side, you're going straight using that pin, and you're going down twice. Same the other side. Like this, and then placing a cap band on both of these pins, trying desperately to ignore that big noise in the pig. So, once you've done all of, no, sorry, no cap band on this one. Getting ahead of myself. We have feet, so we don't need a cap band. Sorry, I went into autopilot now. So you're adding the feet on the bottom, no cap band, just feet. So add them on. So you're just stretching it out and putting it on this bottom pin. And I'm just going to get my other foot, which is sandwiched in between my other bits on this holding hook. So stretching it over, placing it on that bottom bit so it looks like this, and then we're going to add on the arms. So on the third pin, so this one here, so counting from the top, you get to 3, just in case you didn't realise, which I'm sure you did. You're placing the arm over both of those. Like so. So we have his arms on, and he's starting to look a little bit more Mr. Bump shaped now. And next is his extension. So I'll explain this as best I can. It is not as complicated as it sounds. I hope it's not as complicated as it sounds. So stretching out the part of your extension that's on your hook, you're putting this over the second pin, so the one above where you've just put your arm, placing it on like this. Then if you stretch it out, you will be able to see these little circle bands that we've placed in, and you want to, while you stretch it, get the little loops on your hand. You should have 2 bits of band and just hook them over the next pin, and then just working your way along that extension and placing it over. The colours on this do help because you've got your white and your blue, so you can make sure that the white bands go on white bands and the blue go on blue. Oops. If you do struggle to get the bands, what you can do is stretch this bottom band over this pin, and from the top it is the 6th pin down. So if you want to do the top and bottom first and then do the ones in between, that's fine. It might make it a little bit easier. Gives you another hand to work with, so you haven't got to hold and pull it out. And I'm just trying to find this other band that's hiding really well. I've got one loop. Is that the other loop? There's the other loop. And there we go. So once you've got one of the extension pieces on, it will look like this. And doing this we'll just give it this round edge like that. As you can see, there's the extension piece on this one. So exactly the same the other side. So placing it on the second pin, like so. Stretching it out, and I'm going to show you what I mean with the stretching it onto the top and the bottom. So if you stretch it onto, you put it on the second and the sixth pin, like that, each end, and then it will hold it in place, and you just need to manoeuvre it between these three pins then. It just saves you having to put it out while you're doing it. It does make it a little easier. So, there we go. So we have arms, feet and extension pieces. The next step is his eyes. So if you need more time to do the extension bits, then just pause, that's fine. Come back when you're ready. I'll still be here. So 2 single black bands, and then wrapping them 3 times around your hook individually, like this, and then taking a single blue band over the end of your hook, hold it on your finger, and you're just sliding these 2 bands onto this blue band. So the black band's onto the blue band, so it looks like this, and we're adding that across the 2 second pins on each side, so where you started with your extension. I think we are. Yeah, that should be fine. Separate the eyes, and then take your hook in between these 2 bands, in between the eyes, just loop up the top band over there like that, over that centre second pin. And then once you're at this stage, you can add in the triangle bands, and these will just help to hold the design together. So if you can see, we've made a triangle here, hence the name, and we're just going to work our way up, changing the colour as you go, as you get to different sections of him, so they blend in a bit better. And you're working all the way up so you stop just below the eye band. So I've started with blue, so now I'm going to use white, white again, and white again, and then blue. So it looks like this. So you've got 5 triangle bands in total, and once you're at this stage, we can start to loop. So going in through the foot, pushing it back, and looping up those bottom 2 bands, bottom 2 again, and stopping when you get to sort of the top of his leg, sort of his hip, and doing the other leg. You will need to do these before you start on the body. Like this. And don't worry if this looks a little bit strange, it's just like to come off the pin a little bit, but it's secure, so it's fine. Going in through this cap band in the middle, pushing it back, and taking the top 2 this time, and pulling them back to whichever pin they've come from, so the bands are double back on themselves. Same again with the next top 2 and the bottom 2, the only 2 that are left on there that aren't the cap band. So you have that little fan shape, and now I am going to go all the way up to the top of his head. Now as you go through the extension, you just need to push it back and just get in the bottom 2 bands, the same through the arm and the triangle bands, so you're not looping any of those, just the bottom 2 bands that we put on originally, whether they're blue or white. Some of the pins are a bit full, so just work with it. If you need to pull your bands around a bit just to work out which ones they are, then that's absolutely fine. Oops, band just dropped. There we go. So one side looped up, I'm going to go up the centre next. These bands are jumping off today. There we go, all the way up. Just the bottom two bands, just looping them through, moving the eye band out of the way and up to the top of the head, and then back and going up the last sides, always starting from the end of the feet at the bottom, otherwise they won't link in properly if you try and do them from the top of the head, and you'll take off your loom and it will just fall to bits. So I'm just pulling this band out to the side so I can find it a little bit easier. It's just difficult to find because there are so many bands on that pin, because you've got the arm as well as the extension. Pushing it down. So when he's all looped up, he looks hopefully something like this. So as you've looped up, you've got little teardrop shapes on each pin, and there's no loose bands underneath that you've missed. Just checking. There isn't. And then taking your two loose white bands at the top, through this top centre pin, push all of these bands back, find those two bottom bands and bring them around the pin, and take both ends of those bands on your hook, and then take the top two over the bottom two, pull to make a slip knot, and once you've done that, he's secure and he can be removed from your loom. So you can do that. And there we have Mr. Bump. Just make sure those two bands at the top are tied as tight as you can do them. Give him a little tug, pull out his legs, his feet, and just adjust him a little bit. And there we have him. There's our Mr. Bump. So I hope you've enjoyed making him and you like your finished result. If you click like and comment on this tutorial, let me know what you think of the design and my tutorials. And also click subscribe, and you'll be notified when I add new videos, which are all Loom tutorials, I think, pretty much. So yeah, and I've forgotten what I'm saying. No, it's completely gone. I am on Instagram at Sally's Looming if you'd like to share your finished results with me, which would be lovely to see how your Mr. Bump or any of the other designs turn out that I have tutorials for. And I'm also on Facebook. If you search Sally's Looming, all one word, and you will find my group on there, and you can share your finished results, make requests, generally have loom chit-chatty type things. And I think that's about it. If you just want to add a mouth on him, which I do believe he has, but I haven't done it on this design, you can just use a Sharpie, just a permanent black marker, and just draw a face on, but I think his mouth's pretty much covered by his bandages. So yeah, and if there's any requests, you can request on Facebook, on Instagram, and comment underneath this video, and I will do my best for you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!